Hi, anyone tuning in. We'll get started in just a few minutes. I wanted to make sure I can get the live stream hooked up a little early and we are good to go. We'll get started just a couple minutes after the top of the hour. So give everyone just a couple more minutes to get settled in, to get set up and connected. No special props or anything are needed today. We'll keep it low, we'll keep it slow. This is one of those classes where you won't get super sweaty if you get sweaty at all. I don't want anybody to have to change into work clothes feeling like they need a shower afterward. We'll just keep it really basic and feeling really good. Give it just another minute or two before we get started. So we're gonna start on our back. And I'll give everyone another minute or two to get signed on and settled. My name is Kelly. I am a yoga teacher, I'm an author, and I'm really excited to do this lunchtime yoga with everybody who tunes in today. And in the future, the class will stay posted on the Cleveland Heights Library Facebook page, so you can revisit this anytime you would like. We'll keep it very basic and you'll walk away feeling good, feeling refreshed, feeling stretched, but not like you worked too hard. So don't worry about any fancy equipment. Don't worry about anything except what you've got with you. So let's get started. And like I said, we'll start on our backs. And you have options here when you come down to your back. You can keep your knees bent. If you do that, you can let them knock in on one another. You can also let your legs be long here. Go ahead and close your eyes if you haven't already. And start to tune into your breath. The breath is the most important part of the yoga practice, so you'll hear me come back to it quite a bit. Just notice whether your breath is fast or slow, whether it's smooth or choppy. Notice the temperature of your breath as it brushes the back of your palate. Don't try to make any judgment about your breath, just notice. As you start to tune into your breath, begin a gentle body scan. Notice any areas where you might be carrying some tension. See if you can let it go. Maybe your shoulders have started to creep up by your ears. Maybe you can tuck them under your back a bit. See if you can relax the space between your eyebrows. Unclench your jaw, wiggle it side to side. And drop your tongue from the roof of your mouth. We're going to start with a little bit of breath work here. It's called box breathing, and it's really good for grounding. It's really good when you find yourself stressed out or worrying, to reconnect with yourself and to calm your nervous system down a bit. So it's very easy. Take a normal inhale and exhale. And then when your next inhale rises, count to 4. So I'll count for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to hold your breath for a 4 count. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for a 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll begin that again. Inhale to a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a count of 4. 4. Exhale to a count of 4. 3, 2, 1. Hold for a count of 4. 3, 2, 1. Continue on your own for a few rounds. If a 4 count is a little bit too much for you, take it to a 2 count, take it to a 3 count. The number doesn't matter, just make it even. We'll do this for a few cycles of breath. Do one more full round of the box breath. And whenever you reach the bottom of that last 4 count hold, return to your normal breathing, whatever that looks like for you. See if you notice any differences. It's okay if you don't. Take one more inhale. Exhale, and go ahead and blink your eyes open. Pause to notice how you feel inside with your eyes open. Might be a bit different. And then we're going to start to move, and we're going to keep it very simple. We're gonna start by crossing our forearms over our chest. So right forearm will be on top here. You can clasp your hands at your elbows. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, drop both your elbows over to the right. They don't have to come down to the floor. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, bring your arms back up over your chest. Inhale here. Exhale, drop your elbows over to the left. Again, you don't have to go all the way to the floor. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, you can bring your forearms to your forehead, or if it's okay, you can bring them up over your head and maybe to the mat behind you. We're opening up through the shoulders, through the chest. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, bring your forearms back over your chest. And then we're going to switch. So your right forearm was on top before. Now it's going to be on bottom. Your left forearm will be on top. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, drop your elbows over to the left. Inhale, back up to center. Inhale here. Exhale, drop your elbows over to the left, or to the right rather. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, just like before, forearms to either your forehead or maybe above the crown of your head. Take one more inhale. Exhale, bring your forearms back up over your chest and then go ahead and release your arms. You can bring them alongside your body and just pause here. Notice what you feel. Maybe you've created a little bit more space in the upper body. And now we're going to start to work into our legs and our lower body. So both knees will be bent here if they're not already. And then go ahead and hug your right knee in toward your chest. You can clasp your hands behind your right thigh. You can bring them up on top of your knee, whatever feels best. And just hug it in. So your left foot can stay exactly as it is, or you can make it long. If you choose to make it long, just keep it engaged. So pretend like you're standing on something. And then start to make circles with your right knee. So you'll feel that in the hip socket. And then switch directions. So circle whatever way you didn't go. Then come right back to center. Hug that knee in again. Maybe it's a little bit closer now, maybe not. And then you're going to take your right hand on top of your knee and open your right leg out to the right. Again, you don't have to go super far. Hip stretch here, maybe an inner thigh stretch, could be something else too. Throughout the practice and throughout any yoga class that you take, if something hurts, don't do it. If something is uncomfortable, that's a little bit different. You might just need to back off a little bit. Listen to your body and what it's telling you. A couple more rounds of breath here. Go ahead and bring that knee back up to center. You're going to hug it in again. And then this time, left hand comes to your right knee, right arm out to the side. You're going to cross your right knee over your center line, but you're not going to go too far. So I like to say don't go further than your left shoulder here. We'll stretch the outside of the hip, maybe the outside of the right leg. You're not going to do any harm going further. It's just a different pose. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, hug that knee in toward your chest one last time. See if you can get a little bit closer. And then go ahead and release both legs long to the mat. So if your left leg isn't yet long, go ahead and extend it. And then pause here and notice what you notice. Your right leg might feel a little bit longer than your left leg. Might feel a little bit like it's more connected to your body. And we'll do the other side. So go ahead and start by bending both your knees and then hug your left knee in toward your chest. Right knee can stay bent or you can extend it. If you extend it, keep it engaged. So pretend like you're standing on something. And start to make circles with your left knee. Feeling your thigh bone there and the hip socket. And then go ahead and circle in the opposite direction. Come right back to center. Hug that left knee in again. Left hand to left knee, right arm out to the side. Go ahead and open your left knee out to the left. Smooth, steady breath here. Take one more inhale, exhale back up to center. Give that knee a hug in toward your chest. And then right hand on top of left knee rather. And then go ahead and bring that knee over the center of your body, but no further than your right shoulder. Bring your left knee back to center. Give it a nice squeeze in. Notice if it's any closer to your chest. And then go ahead and release both your legs long to the mat. And once again, pause, notice. So we're going to make our way up to our seat. Bend both your knees and then just roll over to one side. Whatever one feels most comfortable. And then press yourself up. So you can cross your legs here, or if it's more comfortable to have your legs long, you're welcome to do that too. Just make sure that you're feeling grounded and you can move side to side to do that. We're going to stretch out our neck a little bit. So when you're ready, drop your chin toward your chest and then roll your right ear toward your right shoulder. We're stretching out the left side of the neck here. Go ahead and bring your chin toward your right collarbone. So you might be gazing over your right shoulder here. Changing the position of the stretch in our neck. Bring your right ear back toward your right shoulder and then roll your chin down toward your chest. Do the other side, left ear toward left shoulder. Bring your chin toward your left collarbone. Maybe your gaze is over your your left shoulder. Bring your left ear back to your left shoulder. And then once again, roll your chin down toward your chest. Bring the palms of your hands to your forehead. And then press your forehead into your palms and your palms into your forehead. So we're creating a little traction here. Stretching out the back of the neck. Release the press of your forehead into your hands, and then mindfully bring your head back up to the top of your spine and release your arms. Pause for a moment. When you're ready, reach your arms up. Get nice and long in the side of your body. And then whether your legs are crossed or long, reach on forward, coming into a forward fold. Let your head and your neck be heavy. And no need to go super deep here. Walk your hands back in. Come all the way up to your tall spine and reach your arms up one more time. Inhale, get long in the side body. Exhale, your right hand is going to come outside your right hip. Left arm is going to reach up and then over to the right. So we're stretching out the left side body here. You can move this right hand out as far as you want to, or you can bend into the elbow. What's most important is you keep that left hip on the ground. Take one more inhale. Exhale, bring both arms up to center. Inhale again. Exhale, left hand outside, left hip, right arm reaches up and then over to the left. Keep that right hip planted on the earth, but feel free to move that left arm anywhere that feels right. Take one more inhale. Exhale, back up to center, nice and tall. And then go ahead and release your arms. We're going to do a little bit of work with our wrists. And for me, I find it easiest to just sit back on my heels to do this. You might find it easier to be in another position, but feel free to start here and then adjust as you need to. So we spend a lot of our day on a computer with our wrists like this. So sometimes we need to really work the opposite direction. So we're going to start by bringing your wrists down, fingers point toward you, and then turn your wrists so that your fingers are facing toward you. Now, it might feel okay to do both at once. If this is too intense, just do one at a time. Could be a lot of stretch and sensation, especially in the forearm. So I'll demonstrate with both, but I'll cue you when to switch if you're going to do just one at a time. And you can adjust the pressure. So if you lean forward, it's a little bit less pressure. Leaning back will be more pressure. If you're doing one at a time, go ahead and switch. Couple more breaths here. And then slowly turn your wrist back around and just sit back for a moment. We're going to do one more thing on our wrists, but we want to give them a moment to breathe. If you want to make circles, you're welcome to. So the next one we'll do one at a time, and you're going to come down onto the top of your wrist. So your fingers will point toward you, but this time your palm will be facing up. And just like before, you can adjust the pressure here, but definitely do this one wrist at a time. We spend so much time every day with our wrists in the same position that it feels like It's a lot of work to do it the opposite direction, but our wrists are made to do that. Go ahead and swap wrists. And then once again, go ahead and release, sit back, and take a moment. If you need to shake it out or make wrist circles, feel free to. So from here, we're going to come to hands and knees in a tabletop position. This could be a little rough on the knees, and if that's the case, you can grab either a blanket or whatever you're using for a mat. Just fold up the edges. Give yourself a little extra cushioning. So in tabletop, your hips will be directly over your knees, your shoulders over your wrists. And then you want your index fingers in line with the long edge of your mat or whatever you're using. And then spread your fingers nice and wide. So take up a lot of space. Whenever we bear weight on our hands, which you're going to do, you want the pressure to be in the L of the left hand and the J of the right hand. So in that space between your thumb and index finger, that'll help take some of the pressure off your wrists. Toes here can be tucked or untucked, whichever feels best in your body. And we're going to move our spine a bit. So on an inhale, lower your belly. Lift your tail and your chin for cow pose. Don't have to crank your neck up. Exhale, we're going to do the opposite. Round your spine and press the mat away from you. Tuck your chin and tail for cat pose. Inhale, lower your belly. Lift your chin and your tail for cow pose. Exhale, around your spine. Tuck your chin and your tail for cat pose. One more time, lower your belly, cow pose. Exhale, around your spine, cat pose. Come back to your neutral spine, so your tabletop. And then you're going to drop your hips over to the left and take a look over your left shoulder. So hips won't come all the way to the floor, that's fine. Come back up to table. And then the opposite, drop your hips over to the right, peek over your right shoulder. And come back to center. From here, take your right toes out to the right and line your right toes up with your left knee. Once you've got that set up, left hand stays on the floor, right arm is just going to reach up toward the sky, coming into a gentle twist. Try not to collapse into this left shoulder. See if you can make yourself nice and big here. One more inhale. Exhale back to your tabletop. And then we'll do the other side. So send your left toes out. Line them up with your right knee. Start to bring your weight into the right hand and then sweep your left arm up toward the sky. One more inhale. Exhale back to your tabletop. Take your big toes together. Take your knees out nice and wide. And then send your hips back toward your heels. And bring your belly and your chest toward the ground. Your forehead might come all the way to the mat, and that's great. If not, you can make fists here. Coming into a wide-legged child's pose. You can come to child's pose at any time. Reconnect with your breath. Maybe settle your mind if it starts to wander. Couple more rounds of breath here. On your next inhale, go ahead and plant your palms again. Come back to your tabletop. And then check in with your hands. Make sure your fingers are spread nice and wide. Index fingers are parallel with the long edge of the mat. And if you haven't already, tuck your toes here. And then just like we did in that cow pose, lower your belly, lift your tail. So keep that. And then we're going to start to lift our knees up off the mat and send our hips back toward the sky. Your knees can stay super bent here. And your feet never have to come all the way down to the mat. If you'd like, though, you could pedal out your feet. Maybe sway your hips side to side. We're working our way into downward dog here. Make any movement you need to. Feel it out. Come back to stillness. And we're going to really work into the downward dog here. So when you're ready, knees nice and bent, heels off the mat, and then send your chest toward your thighs. Hug your outer arms inward. And then send your hips up as high as you possibly can. Once you've got that, maybe your knees start to straighten. They can stay bent. You never have to straighten them. Maybe your heels move back and down. Again, they never have to come all the way down though. And then let your head and your neck be heavy. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. And then open your mouth inside out. We'll do that again. Inhale through your nose. Open mouth side out. Inhale, look forward between your hands. Exhale completely. And then when you're empty, start to walk your hands up toward your feet up toward your hands. They might not get all the way there. That's okay. Wherever you're at, just let your spine dangle. So knees can be bent. You can clasp opposite elbows. Maybe rock side to side. Shake your head no. Nod your head yes. And allow all the worries and stress to drain from the top of your head. If you're moving, come back to stillness and release your arms. On an inhale, you're going to bring your palms to your shins, and with a flat back, come halfway up. Exhale, fold. We'll do that again. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, nice long spine. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Sweep your arms out and up. Get nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to move through some of those same poses in what's called a half sun salutation. So we'll get the blood moving a little bit. Make sure your feet are hip width. Bring your hands to heart center. Take a nice deep inhale. Press your palms together. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, bend your knees, fold forward. Inhale, come halfway up, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Then go ahead and release your arms. Take a look down at your feet and lift up all of your toes. See if you can set them down one at a time. Then bring your weight into the front of your feet. Bring your weight into the back of your feet. Then come right to center. Lean a little bit to your left. Lean a little bit to your right. Then once again, come right back to center. If your eyes are still open, go ahead and close them here. We're going to start to engage all the muscles in our body. So we're going to start by engaging our feet. Feel the connection between your feet and the earth. And then draw that energy upward. So we're going to engage the calf muscles, engage the thigh muscles, engage your glutes, draw your navel toward your spine, roll your shoulders up, back, and down, and then actively reach your fingertips toward the ground. This is mountain pose, and it's the blueprint for all of the standing poses. Feel the strength in your body here, matched with the ease and softness of your breath. Take one more inhale. Exhale, go ahead and release. So we're going to take a nice wide stance here. And general rule of thumb is you'll want to extend your arms, and then wherever your wrists would break down is a pretty good place to start. You might end up going a little wider, you might end up going a little shorter, but this is a good sort of starting spot. So your toes are going to turn inward just a tiny bit so that your feet are parallel to one another. And then once you've got that set up, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, leading with your sternum, start to fold forward. Knees can be bent. And then hands can come down to the floor. If the floor is far away, grab a blanket, grab a book. You can use your water bottle if you've got one. And inhale, come halfway up with a flat back. And then exhale, go ahead and fold all the way down. And let your head and your neck be heavy here. Come halfway up on your next inhale. Exhale, bend your knees. Bring your hands to your hips and slowly come all the way up to standing. So from here, keep your left foot exactly where it is and turn your right toes to face the short edge of your mat. And then line up the heel of that right foot with the arch of the left. Once you've got that set up, bend into that right knee. So make sure you can see your big toe here. You want your knee going out over the little toes. Once you're stable, maybe your arms will reach out and really extend middle finger to middle finger for warrior two. Feel the strength in your legs. Feel the power in your arms. From here, drop that left arm, flip your right palm, and then reach up. So the stretch will be in the right side body here for reverse warrior. Take one more inhale. Exhale back to your warrior two here. Pause. Go ahead and drop your arms and then turn your right toes back in. So we're back in that wide-legged stance. And we're going to do the same two poses on the other side. This time, turn your left toes to face the short edge of your mat and line up the heel of your left foot with the arch of your right. Once you've got that, go ahead and bend into your left knee. Knee goes out over the little toes. So if this is trouble, if you're finding that your knee won't go out, you can bring your hand to your thigh and gently guide it. So once you've got your stance, extend your arms. Reach middle finger to middle finger. And then gaze over your left middle finger for warrior two. Drop your right arm. Flip your left palm so it faces the sky. And then reach up. Reverse warrior. Take one more inhale. Exhale back to your warrior two. Take another round of breath. Go ahead and let your arms go. Turn your toes back in, and then we'll heel toe both our feet toward one another until we're hip width apart. And pause here at center. Notice what you feel and where you feel it. And we're going to do a balance pose. If you're on a mat or a towel, anything you got, you can stay on it. Me personally, I like being on the floor a little bit more. It's a little bit more stable for me. We're going to do tree pose. You're going to start with your hands at your hips. And then you're going to come up on the ball mounds of your left toes and turn your left foot so that it faces your right leg. You'll notice the weight starts to come into your right leg. Continue to push down into that right leg. And then you can bring your left foot right to the inside of that right leg, like a kickstand. Perfect. Or you can bring it up into the calf muscle. The only thing you want to skip is the knee. So don't come to the knee, go above or below. Again, perfectly fine to keep that foot on the floor. Find something that doesn't move, that's in your line of sight, and soften your gaze there. It'll help with your balance. Maybe your hands come to heart center. Maybe your arms extend and grow like the branches of a tree. If your branches are extended, go ahead and bring your hands back to heart center. Back to your hips. And then wherever you're at, go ahead and release. Maybe shake out that standing leg. We'll do the other side. So just like before, come up on the right ball mound of your foot and then turn your right foot in so it faces the inside of your left leg. Bring your weight into your left leg. You can balance here. Kickstand that right foot. Perfect. Or maybe you bring it up into your calf. Anywhere but the knee joint. Find your focal point and let your gaze soften. And then you have the option to change your hands. Maybe bring them to heart center. Maybe grow your tree. Lots of options with this pose and with most poses. And anywhere you're at is the right place to be. You might find in poses like this that one side is a little bit easier than the other. That's normal. Your arms are extended, bring them back to heart center. Bring them back to your hips. And then go ahead and release, shake it out. We're gonna do one more standing stretch before we come down to our seats again. Feet will be hip width apart, reach both arms up. Clasp your hands and point your index fingers toward the sky. So you're gonna be nice and long in the side body. Inhale here. Exhale, just lean to your right. Take one more inhale, exhale back up to center. Inhale at center. Exhale, lean over to your left. Inhale, come back up to center. Go ahead and release your arms. So to come down to the mat, we're going to go through a Malasana or Garland pose. It's a yoga squat. Everybody's going to look different in this. So if you are nice and high in your squat, that's perfect. If you're almost on the floor, that's perfect too. We won't hold it too long. But what you want to do is your feet will be hip width, maybe a little bit further. Toes will turn in opposite directions. So you can bring your hands to your hips or to heart center. And then you're going to start to bend your knees. And you want your knees going out over your toes. Spine stays nice and long. So you might stay here. Might be a little bit deeper. Might be a little bit deeper. Maybe even deeper. Doesn't matter how deep you go here. Wherever you're at, breathe. Here, just a couple more cycles of breath. And then wherever you're at, bring your hands to the floor. Come back into that fold. Feet can be wide here. And then start to make your way down to your seat. Once again, rock side to side just to make sure that you're grounded evenly on both hips. And then you're going to extend your right leg. It'll come out a little bit to the side, so it won't be directly in front of you. Left foot comes to the inside of your right thigh. Inhale, reach your arms up, get long in the side. Exhale, rotate your navel toward your straight leg. And then lead with your sternum and start to fold. So when I say lead with your sternum, you want your spine to stay nice and long, which means you might not go down as far. That's okay. Hands can come outside your leg. Maybe they come toward your foot. Maybe if you're super flexible, they come to your foot. Doesn't matter. Wherever you're at, just breathe. Take one more inhale. Exhale, walk your hands back in. And then we're going to switch it up. So your left leg will go long. Right foot comes to the inside of your left thigh. Might need to shift again to find your grounding. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, navel toward your straight leg, and then start to fold again. Lead with your sternum. Keep your spine nice and long. And then hands go wherever they go. Smooth, steady breath wherever you're at. Take one more inhale. Exhale, walk your hands back in. And then we're going to bring the soles of our feet together. So your knees might be up nice and high, that's okay. And then your feet can be nice and close to your body, or they can be a little bit wider, further away from your body. It's just going to change where you feel the stretch. And then wherever you're at, hands will come to your ankles. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, once again, lead with your sternum and start to fold forward. Might not go super far, that's okay. As we do these final poses, we'll hold them a little bit longer. It's a really good opportunity to check in with yourself again. What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? How is your breath feeling, sounding? Take one more inhale. Exhale, come back up to center. And we're going to do a twist here. Won't be super deep. What you're going to do is you're going to keep this left leg where it's at. Right leg is going to come behind you. So your knee will be near your foot. And then your right foot can be flexed or it can be extended. Doesn't matter. So you might be a tiny bit off center here. That's okay. For me, moving around sometimes helps. And then when you're ready, reach your arms up. Exhale, twist to the left. Your right hand is going to come to your left knee. Left arm either next to or behind you. You want your spine to be nice and long here as you start to twist to the left. So twisting is really about lifting as opposed to cranking your spine, which means if you don't go very far, but your spine is nice and long, that's great. If you're able to keep that length and go deep, that's great too. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, come back to center, and then we're going to swap out the legs. So this time, left leg will come behind you, right leg will come in front of you. And again, you might be off on your balance, on your sits bones. You can adjust, or you can leave it. And when you're ready, reach your arms up. Exhale, this time, left hand to the right knee, right hand next to or behind you. Keep your spine nice and long, and start to twist to the right. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, back to center. Go ahead and bend both of your knees. Wrap your arms around your knees, drop your chin, and give yourself a little hug. Maybe you rock side to side, maybe you don't. We're going to make our way back to our spine. We'll do a couple poses, and then we will hit Shavasana, our corpse pose, the final resting pose, part where you get to do nothing for about 5 minutes. So start to make your way down to your back. No way to do it fancy. And once again, let your spine settle for a moment. Go ahead and hug your knees in toward your chest. Maybe you rock side to side. Make any movement that sounds good right now. And then wherever you're at, come back to stillness. Bring both your feet down to the mat. We're going to do a little bit of a hip stretch. So bring your left ankle on top of your right knee. Keep that left foot flexed. You can stay here if this is enough for your hip. Or if you want more, you're going to start to hug your right knee in toward your chest. And just like when we started class, you can weave your hands beneath your right thigh, bring it a little bit closer. But what's most important is to keep that right ankle or left ankle flexed and pressing into your right knee. Something to keep in mind as you practice yoga. Your body will tell you when you're doing a little bit too much. So if it's hard to make your breath steady, take that as a cue to back up just a little bit. The breath will tell you what it needs and what it doesn't need. Take one more inhale. If your right foot is off the mat, go ahead and bring it down to the mat. And then uncross your left ankle. And we'll cross the right ankle on top of the left. Press your ankle down into your left knee. Stay here if this is enough. Or start to hug your left knee in toward your chest. If your left foot is off the mat, go ahead and start to bring it back down to the mat. And then everyone will uncross their right ankle from on top of their left. Pause for a moment at center. And then one last time, hug your knees into your chest. Again, feel free to make any last movements here that are sounding good. Pause at stillness with your knees nice and bent. And on an inhale, bring your forehead up toward your knees. Might not make it all the way, that's okay. Just stretching out the back of the neck. And then go ahead and release all of your limbs down to the mat, setting up for Shavasana, our final resting pose. So you want to get as comfortable as you can. If that means grabbing pillows and blankets, do it. Give yourself a moment to settle in, to close your eyes, to prepare to do nothing. When you're ready, take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open mouth side out. Feel your front body soften into your back body. And your back body as it softens into the earth. We'll do that one more time. Inhale through your nose. Fill it all the way up. Deepest inhale you've taken all day, maybe all week. Go ahead and sigh it out. Feel your limbs grow heavy while your eyelids and your breath grow light. And allow yourself to drift away here. I'll be right here with you. And when it's time to return to your body, I'll guide you back. But until then, enjoy doing nothing. Start to deepen your breath. Bring movement back into your fingers and your toes. Maybe make small circles with your wrists and your ankles. Then reach your arms up overhead. Take a full body stretch. Bend your knees and gently roll to your most comfortable side and let your whole body rest. Keeping your eyes closed, start to press yourself back up to your seat. And when you've arrived, bring your right hand to your heart and your left hand on top of your right, pausing in this gesture of compassion to honor your efforts and to digest the effects of the practice. Bring your palms to touch in front of your heart. Thank you all for tuning in and joining for a special lunchtime yoga. We'll be doing this every Friday from noon to 1 right here. Until next week, namaste. Thank you. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful long weekend.